This is another edition of Watching Block. What you're about to see, filmed between yesterday, July 18th, and today, July 19th, are going to be my impressions of Sailor Moon Crystal and Glasslip from what I've seen so far of the episodes that have been released at the time of their filming. It's been a month since last doing one of these Watching Block thingies, so feels good to be doing it again, and I hope you enjoy. So, first up, Sailor Moon Crystal. I've seen the one episode that is out so far. Only one episode, considering that they're doing this whole weird bi-weekly release schedule and everything. So yeah, it's going to be really easy to stay caught up with this one, considering that it's going to be released so infrequently in the first place. Okay, so just as a background of where I'm coming from with Sailor Moon in general, I've not watched very much of it at all. Back when it was on Toonami, when Toonami was still a weekday kind of thing, I would catch random episodes sometimes, and I've also seen the first episode Japanese subbed. You can thank Anime Club for that. But I've not really seen all that much of it, but from what I've seen, I mean, I've always liked it. I've always been entertained. It's never been my absolute favorite thing ever. Not that it was really made for people like me in the first place. But I've always appreciated for what it is, and I can definitely see how it's so iconic as far as anime goes in general. So having seen the first episode of Crystal, it's pretty much the first episode of the original series. There's a very good amount of overlap, which this is a good thing. It's solid. It's, like, not incredible, but it's also not that bad at all, and it's perfectly fine for what it is. And honestly, the highest compliment I can pay to it, really, ultimately, is that this new Sailor Moon, at least on the basis of the one episode, feels very much like it is Sailor Moon. It doesn't feel different in the slightest, which I think, considering the audience for it, that's probably the best thing they could have done. They've done a good amount of modernizing, and particularly as it comes to, I guess, the fidelity of the animation and everything. But they didn't modernize it way too much. It's still got a lot of, I guess, the 90s touchstones that are a thing with Sailor Moon in general. Probably even more so since they're apparently going to be hewing much more closely to the manga's art style, as well as whatever the manga's plot is going to be. So, they did a good job of making it feel like Sailor Moon, and I think that's a good thing. It's pretty wise that they didn't try and go full modern, just enough so that it can still fit within the context of all of the anime that currently comes out. It does not look so out of place. And, well, I can respect that. That's good. I'll also be continuing to watch it, considering it'll be the easiest to keep up with ever, probably. I'm still not really sure what the hell's up with the release schedule, doing it every 2 weeks as opposed to every week, but whatever. They have Sailor Moon, they can do whatever the hell they want, I guess. And there's also Glasslip, the PA Works show for this summer 2014 season. I've seen the 3 episodes that have come out so far, so it's about a fourth of the way into the whole show, considering it's 13 episodes and all of that. And, okay, so going through them all, you know, I'll start with the good first. It looks really pretty. It's to be expected. They've lately been showing themselves to be really good at that. They were good with that with Nagina Sakara last season, well, this season's no different, and extra kudos to them as well for having basically a color palette and scenery that's very reminiscent of Hanasaku Iroha, which they did, I guess, a few years back at this point, which is basically my favorite anime of the last, like, several years, basically. But outside of that, it's hardly like Hanasaku Iroha at all. It at least seems like they've been pulling a lot more lessons out of Nagina Sakara than anything else, and all of the wrong lessons, it seems, at that. As in that they've basically co-opted the whole relationship snarl once again, And, well, that was not really fun going through Naginasakara. And it's not exactly so much fun here either. And even going outside of that, I don't know if the show even know where the hell it's even going. I mean, hearing the concept in the first place, it's about our main chick has a family who owns a glass making shop, so it's like a glass blowing and all of that. But the show has hardly any of that action actually going on at all. There's been probably at most 2 minutes total with it got so far, which actually involves any of that at all. And starting about episode 2, it turns out that she can apparently see the future, and that was an aspect of the show that I had never heard of, and coming across that I was like, wait, what the hell is going on here? This was just supposed to be some sort of simple little slice of life thing going on, but now they're adding the supernatural elements into here as well, and I really don't know at all. And plus on top of that, they're not even using that aspect of it very well at all. All it's really amounting to, as far as I can see, is that she can see like a couple seconds into her friends' futures, which is basically their private moments of them being in despair in some way, whether it's just sulking on a bed or crying. It doesn't seem to be like showing anything useful as far as what the future holds. So it's like, it's not handling any of their aspects really well at all. And what there mostly is some sort of, I guess, kind of rote slice of life kind of stuff. At least it looks pretty. And then a bunch of friendship, relationship related drama as well. And I don't know. Let me continue it more. I really, really, really hope that it gets better in some way, that it elevates itself. But as it stands, I really don't know about this one at all. And plus, as far as the characters, most of them are kind of meh. The new guy in town is basically a blank slate. He doesn't seem to have much of character in the first place. I like a couple of the supporting characters, though. My favorite is probably Hiro. He's pretty good. And I also like Sachi. But really, those are the only two that necessarily stand out very much. The main girl's not much going for her, and not really anybody else exactly either. So, I don't know at all. Plus, there's only, 10 episodes left to go? At the rate that they're going, they're not going to get much done in those 10 episodes. So, I guess we'll see, but I don't have my hopes high for this one at all.
But then, just as Justin was about to turn off the camera, he had a sudden moment of inspiration.
And that's kind of a shame, because, once again, Hanasaki Roha is basically my favorite anime of the last bunch of years, and Angel Beats, which did before, is also really good. But then, I guess, starting with Nagi no Asakara, going into this, I haven't seen all of Nagi no Asakara at all, just to disclose it out there. But I don't think what I've seen of it, it's not really all that great either. It had sort of a really annoying beginning. And from what I saw of the later episodes, it got better, but it wasn't like it achieved greatness or anything like that. And Glasslip is, at least from the looks of things, slipping even farther, so I'm kind of disappointed, really. And that about does it. Today is Saturday, when I'm filming this outro, which means that, if I recall correctly, I have episodes of Sword Arts Online and Aldenova Zero, and I think like Captain Earth and whatnot as well to go through. So I'm thinking of watching SAO and Aldenova Zero, see if my impressions of those shows change at all between them, and then maybe in a day or two, if all goes well, maybe I'll have impressions of those as well. But anyway, for all of the people that have actually watched this, thank you for doing so. I hope you enjoyed, and Justin here is signing off now.